This is an M235i, and right behind me here is an M240i. Both these cars have MHD, and in today's video, we're going to compare the Brap sounds. So let's move them over onto the grass and film the video. This hasn't been started in a couple of days, so hopefully, oh, it's very warm in here. Start her up. First time, as always. There we go, lovely stuff. Right, now let's go and grab the M240i. Leave this here and run across the road. Yeah, let's go. Now let's hear this thing start up, B58. Man, this thing, it's got some serious grunt to it. There it is. I tell you what, that 235 does sit really nicely. All parked up, ready to go. Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Let me talk you through today's plan. Both these cars are mapped with MHD. However, they both have the burble maps on the multi-map, and they also have the Brap mapped out. So the first thing we got to do is grab the MHD adapter. Now the good thing about this is I have only one of these, however it works for both cars, which is absolutely perfect. And I also have two licenses because obviously that's a B58, that's an N55, and the VIN is locked to your map. Now I'll put a little clip on screen now of when I set the Overrun Brap to long on this N55. Listen to this thing. And yeah, I felt the same way you probably did as well. I thought the car was going to blow up. So we're not going to be mapping it on the long setting. We're going to be putting both of these on short. So I think it makes sense that we start with the N55 and then we'll also map the B58 and then we'll do a good sound comparison once we let the engines warm up. Both these cars just look so unbelievably good. But yeah, let's hop in the 218i and map this thing. We'll just connect our adapter down in the OBD port. And then all the basic stuff when we turn the ignition on, making sure the lights are off, heating controls and everything like that. Right, here we go. We're on the phone. We've connected the Wi-Fi, so let's go on to MHD. And of course, we're logged under the B58's tune. So let me just switch over to the N55's license, and then we'll go from there. Here we go. Map right. Oh, it's always super scary when the car starts doing stuff. Look at the dash. Coding successful. And the car's gone to sleep. The coding was successful on the N55 in the M235i, so now we've got to go on to the B58. Let's get this coded in, let's get the Overrun Brap onto short, same as the M235i, and then warm these cars up so we can hear them. This car is honestly so much cooler than that one. Same principle, lights off, ignition on, turn your blowers off and all that kind of stuff. Basically everything you want to do when mapping one of these cars just to not drain the battery. And if you want to see a more detailed, in-depth tutorial on mapping with MHD, I've got loads of videos on the channel, so be sure to check them out. Exactly the same procedure with this car then. Going to go onto the multi-map section. We're going to change the Overrun Brap, which is currently set to OEM, so it just does what the car does from factory, and we're going to put it onto short. I would do it on long on this car, however, it will be an unfair test. Both these cars have basically the exact same exhaust system, and they both sound really good. So by putting them both on short, it's going to be the fairest comparison possible to do the tests. Coding successful. Now we just got to let both cars warm up to a good operating temperature. Let that oil warm up before we start revving them and going for a drive. Let's start this one up. And let's do the same for the 218i. Put my MHD adapter back in this one so I don't lose it. Let's see which one sounds better on startup. This is slightly louder. Slightly. That B58 is a little bit mild. When you're just chilling in your car and then you just look behind you and it's kind of a scary car. It's a little bit intimidating. Both the cars are warming up. Gonna let them probably get to about 80 degrees oil temperature and around good coolant temp, just because obviously this N55 especially struggles with oil starvation. Now I know a lot of you guys aren't thinking about oil starvation when we're revving the car standstill. However, it's just good to keep the oil warming up so it's thinner, it lubricates engine parts better, especially the main bearings. Next task is to select the map slots which don't have pop and bangs, because we obviously want a clean run here and we don't want to have pop and bangs going on either car. So let's select number 3, which is set for both. So I set these cars up for number 3 to have absolutely zero pops and bangs at all under any mode. And then obviously we've got some on 1 and 2, but that's not going to be in today's test because we want to run the Overrun Brap. So we've done it for the 240, now let's hop in the 235 and do the same for this one. Same principle, hold down the limit button and then it should already be in map 3. However, we'll just double check for the sake. It's not map 1 because we just flashed it, didn't we? I'm so dumb. There we go, should have no pop and bangs at all. Just do a little test, nothing crazy. Man, this thing sounds nuts. It sounds bonkers. Now with these cars being both 3 litre straight inline 6s, I'm going to be judging the warm-up times kind of similar. They were both started at the same time. And if we look down here, oil temp is 56 and water temp is 52 degrees C. So I kind of take it that the B58 is going to be warming up at about the same kind of pace. Let's get a tiny sound check while we wait. It's just like, it's got such a deep growl to it, my life. Okay, let's check the oil temp now. It's been about another 10 minutes and hopefully we're looking at only 67. I think these things need a little bit of encouragement. Right, B58. Oh man, that sounds naughty. So one thing I'm not too sure about is the N55, if you're on neutral and you're standing still, it builds up boost still to do the overrun Brap. I'm not too sure if this B58 will do it. I feel like it only does it when you're driving, so I'm not 100% sure on this, but we'll make it work. Now, a lot of you viewers on the channel do have a 240 or a 235, and you also have a B58 or N55. So let me know in the comments what you think sounds best, the N55 or B58. Let's go for the test now. My theory was basically right. It doesn't build up like enough boost to be able to make the sound. I know it did it slightly, but nothing crazy. Unfortunately, I feel like the N55, which is over there, is going to win this test. This still sounded really good. However, it just didn't build up the boost that the N55 does when it does the Brap. So decision-making time. It's now time for the N55 or the 218 if you're familiar with the channel. So let's get it on the camera and let's run some tests. And we'll just check the coolant temp one more time. Both stable at 78 degrees C. I feel comfortable revving that pretty high with the temperature as it is. That's a pretty safe territory. Well, I haven't watched any of the footage back yet. However, I feel like the N55 definitely won that. That thing honestly sounded like it was going to blow up, and I was only revving it to about 5k. And before anybody comments, I've checked MHD. It doesn't matter which map slot you're on, it will still do the overrun Brap. So it's not like we selected the wrong map slot for the B58. It just obviously doesn't do it when you're in neutral. Get a couple more revs. And we are in sport. We're in sport mode for both cars as well, by the way. The Venturi intake up front though does sound unreal. I'm going to show you guys a clip. I'm going to rev it up and then I'm going to go to the back and you can hear the turbo spool down. It literally sounds like some sort of insane diesel tractor. Listen to this. Listen to it, you can literally hear the turbo spooling, like just chilling there when it goes down. Okay, so I'm really intrigued to see if the N55 has the same kind of turbo sound or if it's just the B58. Now, we all know the B58 has a slightly bigger turbo than the N55 as well as being a closed deck, but there's loads of other reasons why it makes more power. However, that's one of the main reasons. Alright, well, it still made the same sound. I wouldn't say it's as loud as the B58, but it's definitely up there. I mean, the N55 does have a smaller turbo, which is why it makes less horsepower. However, the M235i definitely won the Brap contest. But don't get me wrong though, the B58, when you're driving it and when it's under load and you let off, so say you're full throttle and then you instantly let off, the Brap that thing makes is utterly insane. But then again, we can argue, does this thing sound equally as good when you let off the throttle at full power? Let's turn the M240i off and take the N55 for a spin so we can hear the Brap in a real world example. Turn this off, we're on a hill, so let's leave it in gear for good measure. Bring the keys with us and then lock it up and take the 218i out. Gonna say goodbye to the 240, it's just gonna stay there. Right, let's bring the 240's keys in this car. Put the windows down because it is absolutely roasting in this car compared to that one. AC on, of course, because it's summertime. And let's take this thing for a spin. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. Let's build up some boost. let's do it again. It actually sounds like it just blows up, and that's on the short version. Oh my life. Now I'm not 100% sure yet, but I feel like the N55 is the most exotic and best sounding BMW inline 6 engine they have ever made. This thing sounds unreal. Right, let's go from third to fourth. And it's a tiny one as well. It all depends on how much throttle you put down on the car. It can do tiny ones as well. It does sound so good. Hear that? Compared to if you like full boost it and you let off, it does one massive one. The little ones sound so good. Second gear. Oh man, this car is so addictive. It's so much fun. Here comes the tunnel. My life. If this doesn't deserve a subscribe or a like at least, it's completely free, then I don't know what does. I've built one of the most exotic 218i's out there. This car literally blows me away, guys. It sounds so incredibly good. Let's turn it off and make sure that the 240 is still standing. To which, yes it is, and I've positioned them.
What?
Look at the way these have been positioned. I tried to line them up perfectly, but I couldn't get any more grip on the 235 to go uphill. It was literally spinning. You can literally see here where it was spinning on the grass. Even though it's dry, it obviously had just no traction. That's kind of a cool photo though. You can literally tell the two different whites now. It's way more metallic on that side. I'm really interested to see what you guys think sounded best. Personally, I think the 235 is winning so far. However, this thing, the 240, can't be mistaken for power. Regarding performance on this car, with the MHD and stuff that's been done to it, it is a serious machine. And if you've been following the channel for a little while, you know I've taken the 235 to the Nürburgring and tracked it and everything. And we've got a really good brake setup on this. It's all hidden where you guys can't even see. And if you didn't see yesterday's video, we fitted some serious racing suspension setup on this 240. So I'm not going to spoil it. You'll have to check it out. It'll be linked in one of the two corners. However, the next thing for this are definitely some better brakes. The brakes on this are currently awful. They're even worse than OEM ones. So whatever the person did before fitting brakes to this, it was not a good idea. So the next thing is definitely some sort of brake setup on this to make it handle that power that bit much better. Like I always tell you guys though, I think this thing is around 450 horsepower. I want to get it on the dyno, but I haven't had time yet. But I do think it's around that power. And of course, it's no good having the power like that with a B58, which is obviously a really renowned engine for making power, but then you can't stop. Brakes and suspension are really important, especially on these M-Lite chassis. I'm going to put on screen now one of my favourite shots from the winter time that I recorded with the 235. It was during the winter time when the air intake temperatures were really low and there was literally no wind. It was going dusk and this thing was screaming. It literally sounded like a V12. So let me know what you think to the clip on screen now. I heard my neighbours tell me when I got home that they could literally hear me about 5 miles away, because imagine this, it's absolutely a stone cold winter's day. There's no breeze, there's no wind. Like, there's no wind today, but imagine it back then, literally nothing. And that sound in the valley just echoing, it sounded unreal. And I'm desperate to recreate that clip with a B58, as well as do it again with a 235, because I reckon I can make this thing scream just that little bit more. I literally can't get over how these two are literally sat together. It looks like such a cool picture. Look at this angle. And both engines are going to go on to live another day. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you can give it a like and you can also subscribe. It's completely free and it really helps the channel out. And I really want to know in the comments below what you guys think sounded better, the N55's Brap or the B58's Brap. Maybe I should have coded it onto long and then left this one on short, so maybe we could have heard it better. I'm not too sure. However, I think the N55 is a clear winner. It does sound so incredibly good. Even if you just apply a little bit of load, the little Brap it does, in my opinion, sounds better than the big one. But the M240 is definitely something not to be slept on. This thing is 100% quicker and currently it handles better. However, I beg to differ. We need to put them both on track and do lap times. Well, there we have it. This was a subscriber's request to see the video, and hopefully I've entertained you guys enough for you guys to have enjoyed this one to the end. But apart from that, if you want to see loads more B58 and N55 content, specifically on these F22 chassis, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. And the next thing we got to do is get these cars back on the garage and in the drive so they stay cool, because it's absolutely boiling in here. The max AC button in these BMWs is actually a lifesaver. It's such a good thing to be able to just put the AC on and just chill. Enter the nice cold garage where it doesn't get as hot as the M235i. And let's turn it off. Now we just got to race across the road and get the 235. Sitting here, all lonely. I'm not even going to bother driving up the hill because it's literally just going to spin the wheels. It's still kind of spinning the wheels, even on grass that is super dry. And there we have it. Let's turn this one off as well. And there we have it, all parked up. We can actually lock it now and end the video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. Leave any comments you have down below and I'll answer them personally. And apart from that, I appreciate you guys watching so much and I'll see you in the next video.